Good day everyone, I'm Annalisa L. Sarancio with PED11 and today I'm going to report about the ways to develop ecoliteracy as well as the 11 environmental principles of natures under Module 10, Ecoliteracy. So now, listen and be with me until the end. For 2017, a growing number of educators feels the need to foster learning that genuinely prepares young people for the ecological challenges presented by this entirely unprecedented time in human history. Thus, the goal is to raise the student with an important perspective called socially and emotionally engaged ecoliteracy. In this case, ecoliteracy is founded on a new integrations of emotion, social, and ecological forms of intelligence, while social and emotional intelligence extend the ability of to see from another perspective, empathize, and show concern. Ecological intelligence applies these capabilities to understand of natural system and cognitive skills with empathy for all of life. So, according to World 2017, increasingly number of teachers is dapat masense or they will see yung needs na to promote learning that actually prepares students for the ecological problems offered by this utterly unheard of period in human history. So the objective is yung ma-instill ni student yung critical viewpoint known as the social and emotionally engaged ecoliteracy. So ecoliteracy is based on a new integrations of emotion, social, and ecological form of intelligence, while ang social and emotional naman is to extend the student's abilities para makita from another perspective, emphasize, and show concern. So ecological intelligence uses the capabilities para mag-comprehend kung paano mag-work ang natural system and also to develop empathy for all species. So to help educators foster social and emotional engaged ecoliteracy, the following are in the identify practices in appropriate ways for students ranging from pre-kindergarten to adulthood and help promote the cognitive and affective the abilities with the integrations and emotional, social, and ecological intelligence. First is develop empathy for forms of life. Second, embrace sustainability as community practice. Third, make the invisible visible. Fourth, anticipate unintended consequences. And five, understand how natural sustain life. First is develop empathy or full forms of life. By recognizing the common needs we share with all organisms, we can extend our empathy to consider the quality of life of others' life form, feel genuine concern about their well-being, act of that concern. So by acknowledging the needs that all living things have in common, we can broaden our empathy to take into account the quality of life of others' life forms. We should show or feel the real concern for their welfare and we take appropriate action in response to that concern. Second is embrace sustainability as a community practice. By learning the wondrous ways that plants, animals, and other living things are interdependent, students are inspired to consider the role of interconnected within their communities and see the value in strengthening those relationships by thinking and acting cooperatively. Means that students are motivated to think about the importance of interconnected within their communities and understand the benefit in deepening those relationships by thinking and acting cooperatively after learning about the remarkable ways that plants, animals, and other living things are interdependent. Third is the invisible visible. If we strive to develop ways of living that are more life-affirming, we must find ways to make visible the things that seems invisible by using web-based tools such as Google Earth, Google Guide, and Foodcate apps. So in making the invisible visible through the use of web-based tools like Google Earth, Google Guide, and Foodcate apps is essential if we want to create more life-affirming lifestyle. By these tools, we can change our perspective that is not possible to make the invisible things become visible, as long as it can help us to grow as a person. Fourth is anticipate unintended consequences. Teachers can teach students strategies for participating in unintended consequences. This includes precautionary principles that when an activity threatens to have a damaging impact on the environment or human health, precautionary action should be taken. Another strategy is to shift from analyzing a problem from reducing it to its isolated components to adopting a system thinking perspective that examines connections and relationship among various components of the problem. So the teacher should provide their student tips on how to deal with anticipated effects. This include the precautionary principle, and sinasabi dito na pag ang activity ay makakasira sa ating environment and sa human health, so the preventive measures should be taken. Another strategy is to stop breaking down a problem into its individual parts and instead adopt a system thinking perspective that looks at the connection and linkages between the many parts of the problem. Fifth is understanding how nature sustains life. Ecoliterate people recognize that nature has sustained life for long that resulted to returning to nature when their teacher imbibed three crucial tenets to ecoliterate living. First is ecoliterate people learn from natural that all living organisms are complex and interdependent that inhabit a particular place for survival. Second, ecoliterate people tend to be more aware that systems exist on various of scale. And third, ecoliterate people practice a way of life that fulfill the needs of the present generation while stimulously supporting natural's inherent abilities to sustain life in the future. So, by understanding how nature sustains life, when their teacher emphasized those three key principles for ecoliterate living, ecoliterate individuals understood that nature has a sustained life for a very long time, leading them to reconnect to nature. And these three principles are ecoliterate individuals discovered through natural that all living things are intricately related and adapted certain environment in order to live. People who are more aware of the interconnectedness of system and various scale tend to be more ecoliterate. Third is ecoliterate individuals lead a style of life that meets the needs of the present generations while also preserving nature's innate capacity to support life in the futures. Next is the 7 environmental principles of nature. The following are the basic environmental principles of ecosystem adopted from Barry Commander Site Butler 2012. First is nature knows best. Second, all forms of life are important. Third is everything is connected to everything else. Fourth is everything changes. Fifth is everything must go somewhere. Six is ours is finite. Seven is not nature is beautiful and we are the stewards of God's creations. First is nature knows best. When we said nature knows best, it means that if one wants to guarantee a constant and steady flow of resources, one must not go against the natural processes and must comprehend and follow the norms it imposes. Second is forms of life are important. It says that all living creatures must be viewed as priceless tools for preserving ecosystem balance because each organism has a significant impact on the natural world. Third is everything is connected to everything else. It means that every element in an ecosystem works together to maintain the system's sustainability because any outside influence could cause an imbalance and further damage the ecosystem. Fourth is everything changes, means that in order to affect change for the better, we people must re-examine the connections with the environment. Fifth is everything must go somewhere. So given that waste must return to one's own backyard in some other manners, as a human being, we should recognize the various waste types like classify or separate those are toxic and possibly hazardous, like we should have a 2 trash bin for biodegradable and non-biodegradable and keep an eye out for them. We can also recycle them. 6 is ours is finite. So being aware of the limited resources that the earth can supply our needs because of being abused by the people, it's our responsibility to take into initiative and change our behavior. Like we should recycle the things that can help us and we should take care and value the environment. Last is nature is beautiful and we are the stewards of God's creations. Among all creatures, humans are the only one made in God's image and have been given the right domain over his all creation. So being the most intelligent and gifted with reason, we humans are capable in manipulating creations to their own advantage. Thus, we should realize what is something happening to our surroundings. We should concern and protect our environment. So that will be all for my report. I hope that you learned something